Let's take a look at basic navigation for your Sage Intacct homepage. Now again, we're just going to be talking about how to move around, how to get to places, not how to do specific things. But if we're looking at our homepage, you'll see information available for you. Now when you're looking at this, you can see if the arrow is pointing down like we have for Intacct product updates, that means it's expanded and you can see the information. If it is pointing to the right, it is minimized. So if I were to click on this, you can see it points down and it expands. So you can go through and minimize or expand any of the information that you want to look at. Now that we have everything expanded, let's take a look at some of the information that is available to us. Let's start with this main section of our homepage. Now here we have it broken up into basically 5 main areas. You have kind of what's new, something that is relatable now to a current user. So we'll come back to this in just a minute. So this is an important update that we have here. And then we have help and support. We have learning, we have Sage Intacct community, and member masterclass. Now with these, anytime you see blue links where you have your cursor turns into a hand, it lets you know that there is more information. It's going to take you somewhere different. So as we were just talking about, here's something that's new and current. The 2023 release 2 is here. If I want to learn more about that, I just hover over the link and click on it. As you can see, it opens a new tab. I can go through here and scroll, and again, anything that's in blue I can click on and it'll take me to another page. I can go through here and check on a specific topic and click on something to be a little more specific, or I can even search for something even more specific to get to details that I want to learn about. Then when I've done, I can close out that tab, go back to the home page. Now these main topics down here are going to be very useful to a new user. We have our help and support area, and you'll notice that there's going to be multiple ways to get to the same information. So here we had our release 2 information. We also have release notes here in the help and support. So again, whichever way works best for you. We have our support area for our help center. So this is if you have a question and you're a new person, you can go through here again, click on a topic that you want or click search. It opens in a separate tab. Once you do that, you can click on it. And a different place that you can find the same information is help and support up here on the top. The difference here is you have a little bit more control over it. So if I click on help and support here, it's asking me, do I want help on this specific page? Do I want to go to Sage University or go to the Help Center, which I click on, and that's where we were just at just a second ago. So when you click on the Help Center here, it opens it up in a floating window. So this is nice if I happen to have multiple screens. I can move it around maybe to a different screen to look at that as I'm also working in Sage Intacct. I can close that out, or if I go to a different application, we're going to come back to this, how to move around, but if I go to accounts receivable and let's say I'm wanting to add an invoice and I just can't remember how to do it, if I come back up here to help and support and click on help on this page, it's going to open up help forms specifically for accounts receivable and invoices. That way I can go through here, look at what I'm trying to do, and here's something on creating an invoice. I can click on that and it's going to give me the steps that I need to create that invoice. So just like the help and support category, these others have a lot of good useful information. We have in the learning section, we have some new user help, a lot of little quick read articles that helps a brand new person. And we also have a video library. We saw on the help area that it had the text step-by-step instructions on how to do things. Here's some videos that show you how to do things like add a bill. Same thing with the Sage Intacct community. Here is information on the community itself and support, so you can read through this information. And then it has things about joining user groups and customer meetups. We have the member masterclass. Again, this is just more information and more videos that you can go through and watch things that matches what you're interested in. Let's move over to the right-hand part of our home page. We're going to scroll down, start at the bottom. We have a resource section here. You're going to see some more repetitive information. We have our help system, which we've seen in a couple of places, our community, how to, again, connect with others in the Sage Intacct community, release notes that we've seen in a couple other places, Sage University, but we do have some other new ones. You know, if you need to order checks or supplies, there is a way to get to that here. Also some upload templates. So again, it's more resources, again, at your fingertips to make it easy to get to. Let's come up here to the message board. We're going to skip applications. We're going to come back to that in just a second. But on the message board, this just gives you some important messages. You can see a quick scan through here to see if there's anything that you need to address or any messages that relates to you. If not, you can go ahead and move on to whatever task that you're doing for the day. There are a couple different ways that you can move around within the entities that you have set up for your company. Over here on the top right hand side, you have a drop down list that you can choose from the different entities that you have. It also shows you some of the most recent entities that you have visited, and you can click on select to jump to that entity. The most common way is up here on your top navigation bar. You always start at the top level, which looks up, and all the entities roll into that top level. If we expand that, we see all the entities that are under the top level. I can choose one and go right to it. What you can see, you can also customize them and change the colors to make sure you know which one that you're at. So at the top level, we have green. If I wanted to go to Florida, maybe I want to change that to orange. And then when I click on Florida, it opens into a new tab. I see the color orange, and if I come back to the top level, I see green. So that way I know as I go to different entities, I know what color it is, kind of keeps them separated for you. Now, the majority of your time is going to be spent in applications, and there's a couple different ways to get to the applications. Up here at the top, we have a drop-down window, and here you can click through and look at the different applications. Now, this is text-based, so you can look through, and with these, you want to make sure that you're looking at and see all the different tabs that go along with them. So, as an example, for company, we have 3 tabs. We have all, setup, and admin. So, if you're looking at one and not seeing what you're looking for, then make sure you click on the other tabs to find the information that you're looking for. For example, accounts receivable has 2. We have all and setup. Now, with these applications, it's all based on your permissions. You're only going to see the applications that you have access to or have been given permissions for. You may have more access than people around you. You may have less, but it's all depending on your role and the access that has been granted for you. Now, another way to look at these applications are over here on your home page. Now, this view is a little more visual. So if I click on accounts receivable, you can see we have icons. So it's not text, it's more visual with this way. We have 3 different ways of putting information on here. We have the data, we have task, and reports. And it's a good visualization of how the information is set up in Sage Intacct. We have lists of data, and those lists then help you perform tasks. And these tasks are actually doing things like creating an invoice using information off these lists. Now, these lists and tasks create records that then roll up into the reports. So it's a good visualization, not only for the icons, but also to see how the information is set up in the Sage Intacct. Now that we know how to move around in the applications, let's look at how to find information in those applications. So if we go to our accounts receivable application and then go to invoices, we'll stay with that. How do we find specific information? We have our list of invoices that comes up. If we're lucky enough that the invoice that we are looking for comes on this first page, just remember everything in blue are things that we can do. So I can edit, view, apply a payment, print, or email, or we have our actions buttons up here. So for example, if I wanted to look at this, I just click view. Once this comes up, again, anything in blue, I can click on it. I have my buttons that allow me to do tasks with this. I have more actions here, and complete the task if this is the one I'm looking for. But what if the information that I'm looking for isn't on this screen? As we can see, we have over 2,600 different invoices. There's different ways that we can manipulate this information to help us find what we're looking for. If we go to each of our columns, I can click on customer name, and what it's going to do, it's going to sort it from A to Z. If I click on it again, it'll go from Z to A. Same thing with date. It will go from oldest to newest, and again, clicking again, newest to oldest, and it also does the same thing with amounts, smallest amounts, and then also the largest amount. So with this, it may help you find the information, but if it doesn't, there's other things I can do. With customer names, let's say I know the customer name begins with A, I can just simply click A and hit enter, and it's going to pull up everything with A. So we went from 2,600 results down to 571. Let's say now I can see, oh, here's A1, that's what I'm looking for. If I type in A1, I've got it now down to 80 different choices. Another way to find information is using the advanced filters. So this is if you have an idea of what you're looking for, it can help get you to it quickly. We'll use the same information we were just looking at, A1. We know the customer's name. We're going to say it starts with, and we're just going to put A1 here. And then I'm going to look for an invoice amount. So I know I want to find one that's greater than $5,000. I can put this information in. If I wanted to add more filters, I can keep adding different lines, or if I don't need it, I can take that off. Once I hit apply, it's going to bring everything up with A1 that has a greater than $5,000 invoice. And then once I'm done, I can just clear all the filters and go back to the main screen. So just remember, as you're trying to filter for any of the pages on here, anything with blue you can click on and do something or view something with that. If I need to help narrow down the field, I can sort by clicking on the column names. I can also type in and search into that column, and then also use my advanced filters to help me find locations or information inside of Sage Intacct. If you found this information useful, go to our next video, Customizing Your Sage Intacct Page. For more information on Roghnu, please visit our website at roghnu.com, send us an email, or give us a call.